I don't think that people realize the amount of work that goes into one of these competitions. I don't think that they understand the amount of practice and training that we go through in order to do one of these. I think if they did, they wouldn't want any part of it.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ready? I never feel ready. Everybody can get used to presenting on stage. Everybody can get used to being in public and speaking at a microphone. The hardest part about beginning to speak is not tripping on the stairs when you're going onto the stage. But eventually you get used to that. You put out your hands. You try to break your fall. It's fine. But the clicker, possible. Part of the problem is there's so many clicker technologies. You have the buttons on remotes that you get used to. You have the buttons on your phones or your tablet devices that you get used to. You have the clicker that you're used to for presenting other presentations, and then somebody hands you a new one, and off you go. And you don't even know what the interface is. You don't know how hard to push. You don't know whether holding down the button will advance multiple slides. That's an important point. And you can't sit there and watch the slides the entire time. No, it's really the clicker that's the hardest part.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1.
I usually advance slides with the buttons on my keyboard. I find those very predictable, very tactile, very memorable. If you put me in a dark room where I didn't even know where my machine was, I could find the slide advancer within seconds. I'm drawn to it immediately. But then I get up on the speechless stage and they hand me a clicker that's not a keyboard. It's a handheld remote that I've never seen before. I think I should have gotten extra points for using that technology. I don't think they should have subtracted for the failures.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and...
I don't think that people understand all the complexity that speaking entails. I mean, sure, there's the coming up with the words, there's the saying the sentences, there is the connection between the slides and the point that you're trying to make. There is the engagement of the audience. These are all sort of nebulous factors that you'll hear speaking coaches talk to. There's the hand gestures that are so critically important to good presentations. There are the thoughtful poses to convince the audience that you honestly might seem to care about the topic that you're speaking to, but nobody thinks about the clicker. Forward, back, forward, except me now. Forward, 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 back, forward, back, forward, back. Gotta get it right. Gotta get it right. Advance, 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 advance. Laser pointer. I remember it like it was just last week. Because it was just last week. I advanced to the next slide. And I heard something in the audience I didn't understand. It didn't seem to match to the slide content. But I didn't find out until I sat down that what had happened was I had made a gesture with my arm, not pressing the clicker, or so I thought, but I advanced a slide at that time. And then before I saw that the slide advanced, I pressed the clicker again and I advanced to the following slide. Not noticing that I had advanced the slide, also not noticing that the crowd had reacted to it in a way that let me fix the problem. I feel like it was my failure over technology, which is even more embarrassing. It was humiliating. Not only that, but I got to the end of the presentation and I advanced too quickly and went right off the slide deck into the next slide deck. That time at least I noticed it, and I did go back immediately to compensate for it, but that's 2 clicker failures in one presentation, which is too many. All you can do is get up on the stage and do your best. And if you fail, then you should fail trying. On this next slide, on this next slide, on this next slide, let's go back to the previous slide. On this next slide, let's go back to the previous slide. Advance, go back, advance, go back, advance, 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 hold. Laser pointer. I feel that I failed my team and my company. But most of all, I think I failed myself. On this next slide, on this next slide, on this next slide, let's go back to the previous slide. Laser pointer, advance slide. I did a presentation in Russia once, and they handed me a clicker that had no English words on it whatsoever, and I had to figure out how to manipulate it without knowing the language. It was one of the most difficult presentations I've given in my life. It's also one of my proudest achievements.